Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of The Suited Shootist. We're back in my closet because we are back talking about some concealment tips. And one that I've gotten a lot of requests on is talking about kind of the old adage of how patterns are better for your concealment than solid colors. And as virtually everything else in this space, it's not really a hard and fast rule. The actual answer is it depends. And that's what I'm going to touch on today. I'm going to caveat it right up front by saying I am intentionally staging some of this printing, and I'm doing it with a gun that is larger than what I typically carry, just because otherwise waiting for these things to happen organically, we'd be here a while. So this is one of my favorite pattern shirts. It's a purple gingham shirt from Leadberry. I believe there's actually made in Italy. The actual mother of pearl buttons, hand stitched a little bit. Great shirt. I'm going to see if I can actually get this to zoom in, because the issue with patterns is that they are structured and they are regular. It's the nature of a pattern. And so whenever you have something that is a pattern interrupter, now all of a sudden, the pattern actually highlights what you're trying to conceal. If you're paying really close attention, you can see this crease in the shirt is because here, right here is the point of the grip of the pistol. And so it's causing this crease as I'm standing, and you might even be able to see this kind of shelf that's created where the pattern again is deviating. And some people are going to say, oh, well, your shirt's too tight. No, it ain't. You can get up close. The buttons are not pulling open. This is not tight. This is how a dress shirt is supposed to fit. And the truth of the matter is I do regularly carry either my 365, sometimes my Glock 19, under this without much issue. But again, I'm having to fabricate some of this just for the purposes of the exercise, because as I move, as you see the pattern change, the human animal is really good at pattern recognition. And so once something breaks that pattern, that's what catches our attention. And so the fact that all of a sudden you have this normal sort of checked grid that gets disrupted, it can be a bit of an issue. But let's, for the sake of argument, try to be as fair as I can here. I have a couple of shirts that we're going to go through. And hopefully, unlike last time, I'm going to try and keep everything off of the mic, so that way there's less rubbing. Okay. Now, this one is going to be, I guess, sort of the control, as it were. This is a white dress shirt, and so it's arguably going to be the least forgiving in terms of concealability. Now, okay, this is on me. I didn't white balance this enough, so let's go ahead. I'm going to play with the controls a little bit here and kind of bring down the brightness and the contrast a little bit, because yeah, you can still see the grip poking out in the same place that it was. And for the sake of expediency, I'm not buttoning every single button on this, but this seems to be, at least from what I'm seeing in the camera, concealing a little bit more effectively. The creases are not necessarily, they're still there. You can still see it, but it's not accentuated to nearly the same degree as it was with the patterned shirt, which I find interesting, because everybody says, oh, solid colors are the worst, and, white is the worst of them all, and all this other stuff. And is it? Yeah, you can see that this is a blaze orange dummy gun through the shirt, so yeah, there's that, but from a printing standpoint, the outline of the gun, this seems to be comparable and possibly less accentuated than with the patterned shirt. So let's take a look at another one. All right, so here we go. Another custom shirt of mine. Another kind of, this one's a graph check instead of it being a gingham check. But when it comes like, this is the type of pattern that I will typically wear. And again, even just standing here, you can see the fabric resting on the backstrap of the pistol is more accentuated by the fact that there is a structured pattern on this shirt. And I mean, let's give it a fair shake and see what I can try and sort of, wash it out a little bit. I mean, yeah, it's still very angular. I'm not saying that it's printing less, but because of the shirt and the pattern in it, the breaking of the pattern catches the eye more. So if you are going to go with a patterned shirt, what do you really have to go with? Most men's dress shirts, at least the ones that are, typically designed for business casual or, actual business wear, they're going to be very rigid, very structured. They're going to be a stripe or a check. What you want to go with, ideally, is a less regular pattern. This one is kind of a micro floral. It's definitely a more casual button up. And yes, just because it has long sleeve buttons and a collar does not mean that it is inherently dressy. This is a casual shirt. So as such, let's see if there is any less obvious printing with this one because of the less regular pattern in the fabric. So I don't know. What do you think? I'm not like trying to suck my gut in. I'm not really trying to do anything different other than just putting the thing on and standing here in front of you. Now, obviously, with the exception of the first one, all of these are custom shirts. However, they were made for me at different times. So I did have slightly different measurements when some of them were made. So that is a factor. These are not completely cookie cutter. But, again, I'm not seeing nearly as pronounced, angle on the grip as I was with the other ones. So what does this mean? Well, like I said at the beginning, what it means is it depends. There are no hard and fast rules here, because if you're going to go with a pattern on the shirt, something irregular, like, this floral would be a good option. If you are in the appropriate setting, Aloha shirts actually work pretty well. I am a big tiki enthusiast. I've got a pretty substantial collection of Aloha shirts at this point. But I really don't wear those unless I am within arm's reach of a body of water or within arm's reach of a bartender that knows how to make a proper Mai Tai. So rarely am I carrying a gun in those circumstances. And so again, I wanted to highlight this because this has also been a variety of fabrics. This one is cotton. The graph check was kind of a performance fabric. The pure white was a bamboo. And I believe the leadberry was also 100% cotton. So we've got some different fabrics coming into play here as well. What do you think? I want your opinions on this. I mean, does this help offer some insight? Because it mirrors my sort of initial findings. And, admittedly, is there some bias here because of my past experience? There has to be. There's no way to really empirically test this. But don't just take this stuff at face value, because somebody else's circumstance may not mirror your own. One of the things about the human eye is that it likes straight lines. And so if there's something that takes a straight line and deviates it, makes it curve or go somewhere that it's not supposed to, again, that's going to catch the attention. So patterns can be your friend, but they can also make life harder. What have you found that's worked for you so far? I want to hear that down in the comments. Other than that, I hope everybody has a fantastic week. Stay dangerous and stay sharp.